Since this appears to be an accident, they offer a reminder about gun safety. Sergeant Clayton Schuler with the Wichita Police Department.
I don't know how this happened. I can't really say that that's how this happened or not. We definitely want to make sure that any guns that we own in our homes are definitely locked away.
That audio courtesy of KSN. The 13-year-old and a 16-year-old brother were playing with a gun that went off. EMS transported the child to an area hospital in critical condition. An album of uplifting songs for children by artists of color helped a Wichitan receive his first Grammy nomination. Roy Moy III is one of 24 artists featured on the album All One Tribe, released this year on Juneteenth to celebrate the accomplishments and culture of persons of color. And now here's sports.
From the KGSO Sports Desk, I'm Mason Voth. This update brought to you by Clearwater Liquor. Get your beer, wine, and spirits at Clearwater Liquor. Yesterday, Pro Football Focus named their All-Big 12 teams. K-State's Deuce Vaughn was the Player of the Year. He was also a first-teamer. Other notables on the list, Kyron Johnson and Kenny Logan Jr. from KU made the second team, and Breece Hall, the Wichita Northwest grad, made the third team at running back. K-State's Felix Anyadike-Uzama and Cooper Beebe were also first-team selections.
At Midwest Kia, we're helping you solve all the problems that everyone is talking about when buying your next new vehicle. Have you been told there are no new cars out there? No problem. Have you been told you have negative equity? No problem. Have you been told you have bad credit? No problem. Maybe you've even heard you can't get a great deal on a new car. At Midwest Kia, we solve all of these problems for you. With over 300 new Kias, certified pre-owned Kias, and used vehicles, Midwest Kia has the deal and the car, truck, or SUV for you. And we want to get you approved. If you have $600 cash or trade, you could be approved for a brand new Kia today. Plus, every new Kia comes with our amazing 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Only at Midwest Kia and MidwestKia.com. Simple, transparent, and fast. A better way to buy.
We want to see ya in a Midwest Kia.
On select models with approved credits. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See retailer for details.
The weather is colder this time of year, so that chip in your window is something to fear.
Hey, Glassman.
The Glassman can fix that chip, making your windshield like new before it turns into a crack, making you feel blue.
Hey, Glassman.
If your windshield is already cracked, getting it replaced now is how you should act.
Hey, Glassman.
So if glass in your vehicle has caused you some stress, call 669-GLASS and get it fixed for less. HeyGlassman.com is where you go to ensure a clear view. Schedule your appointment with the Glassman crew.
Hey, Glassman.
Market information from the Mid-America Ag Network. I'm Andy Hooser, wrapping up today on a Monday, and big losses today, double-digit losses for all the grains for wheat, corn, milo, and soybeans with your cash grain reports looking at Kansas and Oklahoma at the end of trading today. Starting off with your Goodland Co-op, we saw ending prices of wheat sitting $7.74, corn at $5.87, $5.77 in the milo, and soybeans at $11.42. Over in Sumner County Terminal, wheat today's price is $8.04, corn at $5.62, milo at $5.92, and the soybeans at $11.34. Over in Fredonia, $7.73 for the price of wheat today, $5.40 for the corn, $5.59 in milo, and $11.76 in the soybeans. In the western part of the state at Garden City, Kansas, wheat today was at $8.02, corn at $5.93, $5.73 in the milo, and $11.37 in the soybeans. In Coffeyville, Kansas, we saw wheat today $7.76, $5.45 in the corn, $5.39 in the milo, and $11.80 in the soybeans. Two Rivers Co-op, we saw $7.88 today for the price of wheat, $5.52 in the corn, $5.67 in the milo, and $11.58 in the soybeans. And in Marysville, Kansas, we saw wheat today at $7.92, corn at $5.48, milo at $5.68, and the beans at $11.57. Down in Oklahoma, we'll start off with Tonkawa, Oklahoma today, $7.85 in the wheat, $5.54 in the corn, $5.62 in the milo, and $11.62 in the soybeans. And in the panhandle of Hooker, Oklahoma, we saw wheat today $8.19, $6.17 in the corn, $5.82 in the milo, and $11.27 in the soybeans. So pulling out that calculator, looking at averages today, we saw the wheat today with an average of $7.90, down 37 cents from yesterday at the end of trading. Corn with the average of $5.66 today, down 16 cents from yesterday. The milo was with an average of $5.68, down 19 cents, and the soybeans with an average of $11.52, down 15 from yesterday.
Your local weather on KQAM, brought to you by Jewelry Savers. Conveniently located off K96 on Greenwich Road, the Kansas trusted jewelry source since 1971. Jewelry Savers.
A mix of sun and clouds today in Wichita with high temperatures not nearly as warm as yesterday. 64 degrees going to be the high with a northeast breeze at 6 to 12. Tonight the clouds roll out. Temperatures drop to 36 by morning. We'll warm it up again with sunshine on Wednesday, a high near 70. With your forecast, I'm meteorologist Frank Wall.
That's your latest Cake First Alert weather update on the Big Talker, KQAM.
At 4:06, it's currently 60 degrees.
Fighting for freedom every day.
They are absolutely desperate to pretend the last 4 years never happened and for them to go back to what they liked to do before, which is create these massive spending bills to pretend that it's really, really important to you when you only get about 5% of what's in the bill, and they can't do it because we're aware of it. We're paying attention to it, and they don't like that.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Darn right it is. Welcome back into the program. It is a Tuesday, the post-Monday celebration, one of the greatest days of the entire week. I don't care what anyone says. We're ready to rock and roll for a whole nother day here. By the way, can I ask a question? What is the fascination with Pete Buttigieg with the Department of Transportation? I don't understand it. According to a nice little headline on Drudge Report, that now there's a scramble from mayors all over the country trying to get part of their infrastructure money from Pete Buttigieg, wanting to FaceTime him, wanting to meet with him, wanting to get with him, and how he could be the future standard bearer of the Democrat Party. Now, I know there's the love quarrel going on between Kamala Harris and Joe Biden right now, so that is going to be interesting to see if maybe they drop Kamala and bring Pete Buttigieg in. Again, they go back to a failed presidential candidate that didn't do well in the polls on the Democrat primary to try and replace a candidate who didn't fare well in the polls in the Democrat primaries and who voters didn't like on the Democrat side to try and be the new guy because they're desperate to get Joe Biden out of office. They're desperate. They can't stand him in there. He can't make the right decisions. His popularity is going downhill, and they're stuck between the rock and the hard place. Do we stick with the very senile guy that can't remember his name, or do we go to someone who's extremely unpopular that nobody likes, even within our own party? So plan B, let's go to another candidate who is extremely unpopular in the party and nobody likes even within our own party. Good golly. Welcome into the show. It's great to have you along for the ride today. Broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas on our flagship radio station. But we are all over the country. Multiple radio stations, TV stations, live streaming, and podcasting, wherever you may be watching or listening. We appreciate you very, very much. The last day of November, and I have to brag just a minute here. It is the last day of November going into December, and here in Wichita, Kansas, where my flagship radio station is, where I'm located, it is near 70 degrees. And it's 70 degrees again tomorrow. It's another warm one, and I'm still wearing shorts and a T-shirt. I know. So thanks, global warming. Appreciate that very much. AOC, you have done your job in saving the country because now I can enjoy some warm weather going into the wintertime here just right around the corner. It's wild. I got to, as I mentioned over the weekend, I got to hang up Christmas lights on the house in my shorts and T-shirt. That's a good way. And now, unless it's 70 degrees outside again, I am not hanging Christmas lights anymore unless it's that weather. Because I'm not doing it, climbing up on the roof in those heavy coats and gloves. I'm just not doing it. Not doing it. We got a lot to get to today. We have some news from the new COVID variant coming out of South Africa we'll get to here in just a little bit. We have states that are changing their unemployment system to allow individuals who have been fired because they didn't get the COVID-19 vaccine to be eligible for the unemployment benefits. That's an interesting concept. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. We have Dr. Kathleen Brown at the bottom of the hour to talk about the failed healthcare system. But as we talk about infrastructure, we talk about the budget. We have the inflation that's still absurdly ridiculous. We have the consumer spending that is wary right now. The stock market crashed another like 600 points today because of this new variant. Where are we going economically? So we had to bring back on our friend here. He is a congressman from my congressman right here in the 4th District of the state of Kansas. He is on the Ways and Means Committee. Super excited to have him back on the program, Congressman Ron Estes. Congressman, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, Andy. Thanks for having me back on the air.
No, it's always great to chat with you. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and I appreciate the time. I know you're back in D.C. These are wild times. I know you guys just passed this infrastructure bill a couple of weeks ago. It's officially been signed. Now we hear the rumors of just the panic of every city across the nation trying to get their hands on some of that money for infrastructure across the country. What's next? Because now you guys also passed the Build Back Better plan that's sitting in the Senate. What type of version of this bill came out? Is it marginally better than what we had seen when it originally came out? And where are we at with this conversation?
Yeah, you really hit the nail on the head talking about Transportation Secretary Buttigieg. The infrastructure bill that was passed and signed into law basically creates all this pots of money that he's going to have at his discretion to dole out. So, the mad scramble chasing money is in progress now, and around the country, people are going to go after him. And that's just kind of, the first step in this two-part program that Democrats want to pass. And the second one was, it took Speaker Pelosi months of twisting arms and trying to force people to pass this reconciliation bill. That the numbers keep changing. Depends on, the Congressional Budget Office never did that final score before they voted for it. That was one of the things that the so-called moderate Democrats or the people that were in swing districts had said they wanted to see a CBO score. So there really wasn't a full score. There were some tables created for the bigger categories, including Ways and Means, which we had roughly half of the bill was under Ways and Means responsibility. And so now we're seeing that really this reconciliation bill is going to cost about $4 trillion.
Wow!
Just for what we can see that's in there. And they got it down to that level through some gimmicks. And one of those gimmicks was, instead of saying, okay, we're going to make this program permanent, they'll say, well, which means it would be costed for over a 10-year period.
Right.
They're saying, well, we'll just keep this program for a couple of years and then end it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Well, we all know government programs don't end. Even Ronald Reagan said, a government bureau is the nearest thing to eternal life we'll ever see on Earth. Yeah. And so we know the gimmicks that they used to get what they called the cost down was incredible. And there are 150 new government programs that were in the bill that passed the House the way it was designed, and now it's over in the Senate. And there's a lot of debate on the Senate side on several fronts. One, things like the blanket amnesty that they put in there aren't going to pass the rules in the Senate, what they call the Byrd rule. That basically means if you're going to pass a reconciliation bill, it can only deal with taxes or spending or the debt. And so to put all these extra policies and complete changes on the things the country does is not appropriate to put in a reconciliation bill.
Right. That is good news. At least some of that will come out. But really, 150 new programs. What kind of programs are we talking about here? And by the way, I know originally the bill was supposed to be like $5 trillion. I know Joe Manchin and some of the others on the Senate side wanted it down to $1 to $1.5 trillion. Obviously, that's not going to be the case if you guys just passed a $4 trillion bill. So it didn't come down much. But what possibly could we be creating with new government programs and agencies here?
Yeah, and that's the problem with all the money, the cost being thrown around, is that there really isn't a good solid answer of what's in there, and allows the mainstream media to talk about, it was only a $1.9 trillion bill, as opposed to, well, if you lay all these things out. So it does things like it expands the electric vehicle subsidies for wealthy couples making over $500,000 a year. It gives millionaires a $80,000 tax break through the SALT provision, the state and local tax provision, that allows those high tax states like New York and California and New Jersey to deduct all of their high state income taxes, so that the rest of the country has to pay more in federal income tax.
So in other words, all of wanting to tax all the evil rich people, the millionaires and billionaires in the nation, they passed a bill and rammed it through that's giving all their special interests that are millionaires and billionaires all the tax breaks based on these incentives. That's right. They're going to get all the money out of that. And middle class are going to end up paying more in taxes and not get the benefits of the tax provisions they put in it. So
they create, actually they're ramming Medicare expansion down all the states. I mean, they're basically dictating to the states that you have to expand Medicaid through the states. They're increasing Obamacare subsidies through 2025 in order to make it look like Obamacare is affordable and a good idea to have. They created a new program called the Civilian Climate Corps to employ thousands of people to work on so-called climate change mitigation projects. So basically, Peace Corps wasn't enough, AmeriCorps wasn't enough from the Obama administration, and now they have to create a Civilian Climate Corps as part of that.
Wow. It just never ends. It's just new program. Now, what about the child tax credit where we're getting these monthly paychecks in the mail? I still receive, I think this is like December's the last month that we're supposed to technically get them, unless, because I heard this was in there to extend this. I know that once again, like you mentioned, once you create a program and start giving out money, then it doesn't go away. There were people that didn't qualify for the child tax credit before getting a $1,000, $1,500 check in the mail every month now for all the kids they have. Is that in there to continue on?
Yep, they extended that child tax credit payments through the bill, and what I'm concerned about is the number of people who not only did they increase the amount, but they also are prepaying it monthly. People are used to getting that as refunds.
Right.
So when they come to do their taxes next February or March or April, and they expected a $500 refund or $1,000 refund, that they're not going to get it because they've already got the money and they've already spent it. And that's when they're going to see lots of problems for folks who planned all along to have the refund, and that's how they've managed their decisions on managing their money. And it's going to be a rude awakening and a shock for so many individuals through this.
Yeah. Well, and it's going to turn into, again, like you said, not even a child tax credit, because like people that didn't even qualify before are getting it. So it's gone from a credit on your taxes that you're getting monthly to now just a social handout. Oh, hey, you have kids. Here's some money for you. And I find that a little disturbing because it's just that base, again, on a universal basic income, some type of socialist program, and it's not going to go away.
And that's really the ultimate goal. Is they're using the child tax credit as the camel's nose under the tent. In reality, they want a universal payment to everybody, so that the government can dictate what people do. They can tell you where you work or you don't even have to work at all because you get this free money, so quote unquote, coming from Washington. And I tell you, I've been here 4.5 years now, and there is no money tree here. So there is no money here that can get given out to people unless it's taken away from somebody else first. And right now, we're taking away from our kids and grandkids, and we're mortgaging their future in order to live today's lifestyle. And it's really sad to see that. And you mentioned the debt, and I don't know if we want to talk some more about spending before we go talk to the debt, but my concern on the debt is that they don't even think about all this spending is causing the debt ceiling issue that we're facing right now.
It's a perfect segue. We got to take I tell you what, Congressman, we got to take a hard break here, so that's a perfect segue into what I wanted to get to when we come back, is this debt that we have, this debt ceiling, because that's the next debate I know you guys are having as you guys get back before the holidays as well. So let's take a break here real quick. We're talking with Congressman Ron Estes from the 4th District of Kansas, right here in my home district here, a great friend, and this is taking things to an entirely new level. We have this spending package that is astronomical, as you mentioned, spending against our kids and grandkids and great-grandkids at an astronomical level, and now we have a massive debt we got to figure out what to do with. Will we end up raising the debt ceiling? That's the next big question. Plus jobs, the GDP that's not growing as quick as it needs to, the job shortage and labor shortage we still have, all of it tying in together. Is it planned? What the heck do we do about all this? We'll do that when we come back with Congressman Ron Estes right here on a Tuesday episode of The Voice of Reason. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the voice of reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hoosier Media Network. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hoosier-holic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hoosier Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hoosier Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hoosier Media Network. Now, back to the show.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Darn right you are. Welcome back into the program. 24 minutes past the hour. Radio, TV, live, streaming, and podcasting. By the way, I am super excited. We are 1 month away from announcing some really, really big news here on the program, so stay tuned in for that. We have our newsletter coming out. I'm still debating either at the end of this week or beginning of next week. So either way, go to the website, HooserReason.com, and sign up for the newsletter. We are also reworking our entire website and behind the scenes and getting things up and going in a little bit flashier fashion. So got some people working on that, if you know what I mean. So check it out, HooserReason.com. We're talking with Congressman Ron Estes from the 4th District here in Kansas, my home congressman and a good personal friend. I went to over the break, went to the website of usdebtclock.org. Last I had seen, the U.S. national debt was sitting at like 23, 24 trillion. Now it's almost to 29. So that's good news. Congressman, I know you guys are about ready to start working on some debt ceiling raising again, shattering that glass ceiling and just making it indefinite, essentially, because that's really the direction we're going. Is there any way of stopping this debt ceiling from being raised at all, or does it just kind of have to happen?
We're going to have to do a lot of soul searching as a country in terms of what we do on the debt ceiling. Right now, even before COVID, we were spending more money than we were bringing in, and that's an issue. It's ripe through lots of programs. Obviously, everybody has their pet programs and projects that they want, but the entitlement programs and the automatic programs, which Social Security and Medicare are part of that, but the ones that happen automatically, like Medicaid and food stamps, and basically as long as your income is a certain level, that's almost 70% of the budget, and so those things happen automatically, and so until we take some really hard look at what we do, we're not going to be able to get the handle on it, and COVID's made it worse with some of the things I'll make the argument we needed to do a year and a half ago. But now people have taken this, the Democrats have taken this crisis and are doubling down on spending things that we don't need to do. And now they're surprised that, hey, the debt ceiling, we're about to hit that. And it's kind of like, I think about it, as an individual, is that you have a credit card and the issuing bank gave you a credit limit. You can spend all you want underneath that as long as you pay it back at certain times and control what you borrow and what you spend and what you pay back. But you can't just keep spending and spending and spending and then expect to raise the credit limit again and raise the debt ceiling for the country. And so we have to do some hard work. This is a short-term approach that they're taking right now on it. There's a few of us Republicans and even a couple of Democrats are starting to talk about what do we do long term, at least starting that discussion about how do we get to a scenario that protects the country, because right now, we're basically mortgaging our kids and grandkids' future to live today's lifestyle, and that's not right. It's not fair to our kids and grandkids. It's not going to leave the country better off than it was when we got here. And the slowdown in the economy, with all these new regulations and the burdens that they're putting out there, the labor shortages because they're eliminating work requirements on the welfare benefits, all of that has an impact on the debt ceiling too. We saw before COVID hit with the tax cuts and with the regulatory reform, we saw the economy going and booming, and we saw revenue coming in more, which was helping to reduce that. And instead, the Biden administration is focused on how to make it big government dictating and inflation going through the roof, and doing stupid things like halting oil and gas production.
It doesn't make any sense. We were doing so well. We were doing so well before we ended up crashing this. I know it. We're out of time, Congressman. I could talk to you forever on this stuff because it's so important. Congressman Ron Estes from the 4th District of Kansas here. We appreciate the time, my friend. Let's get you back on the show again real soon.
All right, great. Thank you, Andy.
Hey, always a pleasure. Just imagine we can barely pay our interest on our debt. That's how bad the country is right now. Lots more coming up. Stay here.
With Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hooser Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HooserReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. The Hoosier Media Network is way more than just the voice of reason. It's your source to find numerous different online talk shows, podcasts, TV, and radio programs, all in one simple online location for you. From political talk to health talk to whatever you may be interested in, we're here for you. And I tell you, it's growing every day. Catch Tracy Maxfield with her podcast, Engage, Educate, and Empower, discussing mental health issues in children and teenagers. From bullying, teenage suicide, addiction, ADHD, and so much more, learn from Tracy and her guests about symptoms, signs, and ways to talk to your children, plus so much more. Having battled depression, being the author of the internationally acclaimed book Escaping the Rabbit Hole, and being a retired nurse, Tracy is kind of the go-to on the subject. Make sure to find her on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, along with her website at tracymaxfield.com. Also, make sure to tune into the weekly podcast Jump, Pivot, and Roll with Shannon Stiles and Rachel Murphy. Taking that next big leap of faith is hard. Trying to write a book, maybe struggling with a relationship, looking to take that next big career step. What's stopping you? There's a lot of big questions there, and they're questions that Rachel and Shannon want to help with you each and every week. It's Jump, Pivot, and Roll on any of your favorite podcasting sites and on Facebook and YouTube. All of these shows and a heck of a lot more can be found on the Hoosier Media Network Facebook and YouTube channels. Make sure to follow and subscribe to check them out today. Follow all the shows, and if you have any inquiries, check us out at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hoosierholic by going to HoosierReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hoosier Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HoosierReason.com. Oh, hi. You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. And I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hoosier Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HoosierReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hoosier Media Network.
when reason meets radio. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
I just can't get over all these nice little government goodies that they're handed out with this new reconciliation Build Back Better plan. We had the infrastructure package. Now we have this one, $4 trillion. Can we ever cover the cost of that? Probably not. We're already $29 trillion in debt. Why not add 4 more to it? What the heck? Why not? Welcome back into the program. Fastest hour of radio on radio. Multiple radio stations, multiple TV stations, live streaming, podcasting. Your millennial general doing the thing that we do each and every day. Thanks for hanging out with us as you do each and every day. Downloads of the podcast, killing it. Thank you for that. Biggest states this month: Kansas, obviously where we're based out of, New Mexico, Colorado, California. You guys are all awesome, so thank you for that. We love you to death. Go and check it out, HooserReason.com, and you can find The Voice of Reason on any of your favorite podcasting apps at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser. Let's shift gears a little bit away from the budget, kind of, and talk about some specific issues with the budget and industries as a whole in our latest and What's Trending.
What's trending today?
And I figure while we talk about budgetary issues and an expansion of Medicare and Medicaid, an expansion of Social Security, an expansion of Obamacare that's really going on at the federal level right now, maybe we should talk to people inside the industry because, you know, we don't only have like a global pandemic or anything going on right now. And what's the proper response to all this in general with the healthcare system as we have so much money going into the healthcare system, a sixth of the economy that the government has consumed with Obamacare, and it's only getting worse. And she has her latest op-ed, Reject Senator Sanders' Deceptive Infrastructure Plan. She is also the founder of the Oregon Coast Dermatology back in 2011. Super excited to have on the program with us here, Dr. Kathleen Brown. Doctor, how are you, my friend?
Great. I'm excited to be with you.
Yeah,
love your intro.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you coming on the show. This is a big issue. We just talked with a congressman on the air about how massive the debt is in the nation and this infrastructure plan, this reconciliation plan or Build Back Better plan, whatever they want to call it. But with this massive expansion of social programs, Medicare, Medicaid, the Obamacare plans, they have over 150 new programs in this spending bill. Is this the answer? Do we just spend our way out of this to save everybody healthcare-wise and just make sure that healthcare is taken care of based on government standards? Is this the way we go?
No, it ruins healthcare. Sorry, it does. It ruins healthcare. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's already bad enough, and everybody says we have the best healthcare in the world. The healthcare that's good in our country is done in spite of the incredible government intrusion in it.
It's unfortunate that we've gone this direction, and they always try to use these examples of, you know, foreign countries and the Scandinavian countries or the European Union where they have these universal healthcare systems. Why wouldn't a system like that work here in the U.S.?
Well, every system is different, and they all have their pluses and their minuses, and people can tell all the stories they want. There's always a silver lining. There's always somebody that's helped by something, and they use those stories or sad stories to say, well, we should have this. But when you look at the picture overall, it interferes with the practice of medicine. It interferes with the ability to customize, and people experience that. But it's little bit by little bit, and they go, why didn't I get a doctor today? I wanted a physician, and I didn't have a choice. And why wouldn't they answer my third question? They limit me to 2 problems, and I drove 2 hours. Things like that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Why do those weird things happen, you know?
Yeah, why do these weird things happen? I remember during the Obama era when he said if you want to keep your doctor, you can keep your doctor by, quote-unquote, giving you that choice. At the same time, they drove these small practices out of business to where you could still have a choice, just the choices were limited based on who they actually allowed to stay in business or not, it seemed like.
Yes. Here's your choices within this small box. So, yes, I left the practice, the dealing with Medicare and Medicaid and commercial insurance in 2011 because of Obamacare, but really Medicare was already a big problem for me. And, you know, we also personally left health insurance because it's no longer insurance, it's managed care, and it's too expensive. And so my husband and I provided health insurance coverage for our employees, but personally, we pay for it ourselves, and we have backup plans. But, you know, I hate managed care that bad.
Yeah. I know a lot of people going down that road. There are so many, including myself, to where we're sick and tired of going to the hospital, patching yourself up, giving you some medications and prescription pills, and going about your day and coming back, not actually treating anything. I don't know. I'm sure you've seen it, obviously, with you starting your own business and running as a kind of an alternative. There is a massive movement in the nation right now on alternative medicines, on holistic healings, on different styles outside of the basic healthcare infrastructure. Is there not?
There is, and a lot of those areas, I mean, I'm a free market person. I'm happy for people to make their own choices, but a lot of those people are, getting on the government gravy train. And so, you must, again, I'm not opposed to things. I'm just, people should do their homework.
Sure.
And make choices for themselves. But all of these alternative things, people demand that they be covered too.
Wow.
And yeah, so, we could spend our entire GDP on healthcare and call everything healthcare. That's what we do. We call it all healthcare. And, what about any budget left for anything else?
Well, that is very true. And now, I mean, this infrastructure package obviously was $1 trillion. They wanted it to be way more. But when it came out, I mean, they're calling things infrastructure that aren't infrastructure. No longer are we just talking about roads, bridges, and highways, because that itself was only like $400 billion. We could have spent that and paid for it with some of the leftover COVID relief funds that they had at the beginning of the year. And then we wouldn't even have this conversation. But what they were trying to do was saying that energy and Green New Deal stuff and environmental stuff was infrastructure, that healthcare is infrastructure, that the social safety nets were infrastructure. And now that we've redefined all of these terms, it seems like it just gives the green light for government to do really anything it wants to, that's ruining an industry, like you mentioned, that was the best healthcare system in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it'll be very hard for people to see until they've lost it. Very, very sad. What are the insidious effects of these goodies here, goodies there? People vote for, online such and such, there's something for me. But what about all the other lines, and what are the effects? It's kind of good for people to actually take a look at the bill. It's not too hard to find. It's H.R. 5376, the most recent version. There's no index to it, no table of contents that I can find. You kind of scroll down and find things. But what you find is incredible detailed rules. And so they've got one, Pathways to Health Careers Act. Well, you've got to qualify. You've got all these different qualifications, trying to, I live in an underserved state. I'm in Montana now. And all these things, you've got to fit into these little boxes to play this game. Is it really going to serve people better, the people who really lack access to health care? I'm a cynic on it. I'm going to say no. I don't think it'll fix their problems.
No, government doesn't do a very good job in trying to solve people's problems, although they try, and that's what they try to use for much of their argument. We're talking with Dr. Kathleen Brown. She is the founder of the Oregon Coast Dermatology. Also, you can find her op-ed on the website at realclearhealth.com, realclearhealth.com, and you can find her piece, Reject Senator Sanders' Deceptive Infrastructure Plan. You being in the industry here, there was actually a doctor here in the Wichita area where I'm based out of Wichita, Kansas, where there was a doctor that made national news, was on a bunch of talk shows about not even accepting health insurance in any way, shape, or form, but making it more of a membership thing. You pay a monthly membership to the clinic, you get X amount of visits, you get phone calls, you get, prescriptions if you need prescription, whatever. But it wasn't based on insurance at all. It was a way to avoid the insurance games and just do a basic private membership to the clinic. Is that, do you think, maybe part of the future of healthcare moving forward, trying to solve some of these issues?
It is for primary care, as long as they don't, now that it's working well, then they're like, well, let's get Medicare and Medicaid doing this. Well, that ruins it. They're turning it right back into capitated managed care. The key is that the person is a customer. So that's direct primary care. My husband and I have a plan like that. We love it. It's great. It's an alternative. If you don't like it, you can go elsewhere. And I think it's an incredible value, and I think it's such better care. We also have it for both of our adult daughters. We decided to purchase that for them because we believe, and they're thrilled with it.
Sure. Has the increase in government control in the healthcare industry, has that been part of the increase in pharmaceuticals? I mean, we've seen a massive, opioid addiction. I saw a survey that like the average American takes like 6 pharmaceutical pills every single day, sort of thing. And we saw a massive increase of those during the Obamacare push. because I think, like you said, doctors were no longer spending time to want to focus on the patient, but just do care for the patient. Has that led to the pharmaceutical issue that we see today, do you think?
I don't have data to say that, but I would say intuitively that makes sense. If you don't have time, it really is easier to prescribe. I mean, I hate to be that cynical, but I think that's true. And also, this is another insidious thing. You know, this attempt to make payment accurate, it's like by complexity. So there's all sorts of ways that people are more complex. They just pile the diagnoses in there, and this person's very complex. We're going to be paid at a higher rate. Yeah, it's really not a good incentive. They think that they can align incentives to make people, doctors, patients, et cetera, behave well. I think it's impossible.
Yeah.
You know, people behave well by acting in their own best interest. That's, generally a fact that people are going to operate in their own best interest, and the best way they do that is they pay for things directly.
Sure. Yeah, we're talking with Dr. Kathleen Brown. We got to take a hard break here. Can you stick over one more segment with us?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
I love it. When we come back, I want to talk about this big push that many states have done on this Medicaid expansion, and that's been obviously not just with the expansion of Obamacare, but just more Medicaid expansion for everybody and for individuals that don't necessarily need it. Why are we going down that road, and what kind of ramifications that could have in the system? So we'll do that when we come back here. How do we fix this broken healthcare system? It's a messy issue. It's a lot of money, and the government seems to have their hands in all of it. Shocker, right? We'll do that when we come back here, wrapping up today on a post-Monday celebration here on The Voice of Reason with Dr. Kathleen Brown. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station.
We're here for you.
Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com.
You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. And I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hoosier Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn, Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the program today. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite podcasting sites and have the show automatically downloaded to your phone or computer every single day. Just find us on any podcasting site or go to HooserReason.podbean.com. And be sure to check out our Patreon site, become the ultimate Hooserholic, and help us fight for conservative values every day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Now back to the national broadcast of the Voice of Reason.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Welcome back in. Last segment here. Goes by way too fast. I don't care what any other show says. We are by far the fastest hour of radio on radio. Multiple stations, plus TV, live streaming, podcasting. Wherever you may be watching or listening, we have a lot of news coming up at the beginning of the year, so stay tuned in for that. We're going to have some new imaging stuff. We got a new website coming out. Make sure to sign up for the newsletter. Totally free. I know. It's my little socialist handout to you. See what we did there? Sign up for it completely free. Just go to the website, HooserReason.com. That's HOOSER Reason.com. Sign up for it. It'll pop up, say, do you want to become a Hooserholic? You say, yes, I do. Of course. We don't spam you all the time. All we do is just send you a monthly newsletter. We have our holidays for the month coming up, our civic holidays. We have a nice little, hoorah, feel-good speech at the beginning. We have our little blurb on guests we've had on the program, guests that are coming up on the program. Our blog for the month. We have our update with the Hooser Media Network and all the great programs that we work with there with the network as well. So check it out. It's a great newsletter, and it grows every single month. We appreciate you for signing up for that one. Right now, we are talking with our great guest here, Dr. Kathleen Brown. She is the founder of the Oregon Coast Dermatology, and you can find her op-ed that she wrote on Real Clear Politics, realclearhealth.com, called Reject Senator Sanders' Deceptive Infrastructure Plan. And, Doctor, as we talk about this expansion of these government programs, let's talk about this Medicaid expansion. There are most states now that have done this Medicaid expansion, which is really just the Obamacare plan, but it's just this Medicaid isn't all. I've talked to doctors all over the state and outside of the state of Kansas and elsewhere about this Medicaid expansion, and it's frustrating for them, along with the patients, because now the system is so overwhelmed that they don't get the proper care they need, and Medicaid was done for a specific purpose. The doctors are frustrated, like you and others, because there are so many people coming in, you can't spend the proper time actually taking care of patients. Is there a way to get away from the system, or is it kind of too far, too gone now?
A lot of good questions in there. You know, I came from Oregon. I was there for 21 years, and they have a unique Medicaid plan. And some doctors do extremely well on that, not maybe in other states. But then they cut off the diagnoses. They decrease the things that are covered. So, and then millions and millions went missing. There was a series about it. So, you know, it's so wasteful. A quarter of the population there, and I think nationwide, is on Medicaid, which is supposed to be a social safety net. But I think they're going to drown us all in this net. You know, it's not improving care.
No.
So, what is the magic? I think maybe you're going to ask me that. How do you fix health care? I
guess that is the big grand question here is how do we fix this? We have a Medicaid, which they say is an option to a health insurance plan. Health insurance obviously is skyrocketed with the monthly premiums, with the deductibles you have to pay, with them covering less. My wife has lupus. She's got an issue, and we've gone through a lot of medical issues. We had to file medical bankruptcy a few years back, and we're doing better now because we've gone more of a holistic alternative medicine approach, and she's done very well with that, luckily. But at the same time, with the with how expensive it is just to have insurance, and then half of her specialists weren't even covered. It's an issue that hasn't gotten better when they said this was going to make things better.
Yes, they keep promising to fix it, and we have demographic challenges and challenges of more things available. Whether more is better or not, more options. And so, no, they're not going to fix it. People say, well, what is the fix? And I would say stop believing in magic from the federal and state government. Medicare's going insolvent in 5 years, the closest to insolvency since 1997. And, government is, to me, what has harmed healthcare. Yes, we have good things. They are what make it difficult.
Sure.
Remove the obstacles. Allow people. Then there are people. We're some of the people. We're starting something in Montana to reach underserved populations. But there are many people who are actually out there solving problems, some with private money. But stop voting for magic.
Yeah.
That would be my advice. Stop believing that they're going to fix it. They are managing this giant sector of the economy that's extremely important to people's health, like your wife, by rules, more rules, and they believe that they can run a country and they can run healthcare like that. You would not run your household that way. You would not run a business that way.
Yeah. Well, it's great.
It's a giant game.
Yeah, it is. It's a giant game, and you hit it right on the head. Don't stop waiting for the magic to happen for someone else to do it. That's the beauty of the American system, is that we, as the people in the private sector, the laissez-faire capitalist system, we always find a way to take care of the demand that's needed in society. We don't wait around for the government to do it. We have to apply that here in the healthcare industry as well. It's Dr. Kathleen Brown. Go and check her out. We appreciate the time very, very much. I'd love to get you back on the show again real soon.
I'd love it.
Hey, appreciate that. No, thank you. Appreciate that very much. That does it for us today. Podcast up in just a little bit. We're back at it tomorrow. Lots more information we'll get to then. Until then, be your own voice of reason. It's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. This is the Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser. We'll see you on the radio. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of the Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always